Welcome back. Today I am reviewing my top two favorite mid-shelf bourbons. It's Eagle Rare and Buffalo Trace. They're both from the Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome to Cork and Java, your go-to place for wine and coffee and other beverage reviews and how-tos. If you're new here and that sounds interesting to you, consider hitting that subscribe button below so you're notified when future videos come out. So today we got my two favorite mid-shelf, which is about $25 to $35 bourbons here. They both come from the Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. And interestingly enough, these are both from the exact same mash recipe. So they are very similar in nature. The Buffalo Trace here is aged probably, most people guess, around 5 to 9 years. And I believe it's mostly a blend of different barrels. This one, Eagle Rare, tends to be the same barrel, but since they went to an automatic bottling machine, every once in a while you'll get a bottle that has two different barrels in it, so they removed the single barrel label from it. And this is all, I believe, aged 10 years minimum, so it should be a little bit smoother. Something interesting about the mash on these two, it's very low rye and very high corn content in the mash, which leaves it a very nice sweet bourbon. You don't get a lot of those clovey, darker notes that you would get from like a rye bourbon. But anyway, let's start with the Buffalo Trace. Just looking at it side by side, the color's nearly identical. I mean, I wouldn't expect too much color difference, maybe a little bit darker on the Eagle Rare just because it's in that oak a little bit longer, but I'm not really noticing much of a difference here. Now let's take on the nose, the Buffalo Trace. Very sweet right off the bat. I get a lot of honey and citrus, a little bit vanilla. You get kind of an ethanol note in there as well. It's got a little bit of that alcohol kick on that nose, burns a little bit. Not as bad as like the lower shelf stuff. It's definitely not overpowering like some of those are, but it definitely comes through. But yeah, I get definitely like vanilla characteristics and a lot of sweetness, like a honey kind of sweetness to it. All right, let's try the Eagle Rare on the nose. Still a little bit of ethanol coming through. Not quite as much. I get a little bit, still very sweet characteristics, but kind of like a cherry Coca-Cola flavor on the nose in there too, which I really like. Overall, there's a little bit more characteristics on the nose. I get a little bit more of that oak on this one than I do on that. All right. Let's go back to Buffalo Trace and let's have a taste test. That sweetness kicks in right off the front. Definitely got an 85% corn mash on there, which is pretty high, and that tends to be kind of a sweeter bourbon just from this corn. It's coming through sweet, and I still get a lot of that honey and kind of syrupy flavors coming through. And a nice vanilla creamy finish on there. Doesn't linger too long. Definitely nothing like a Scotch would or anything that has like heavy peat. But overall, it's very solid. All right, onto the Eagle Rare. Ooh, pretty much identical to the nose. You get a little bit deeper notes of the wood, obviously because it's been aged a little bit longer. I really don't notice that much of a difference between the smoothness. Both kind of leave your mouth kind of with an oily feel, which is actually pretty nice. But there are a little bit more nuances to the Eagle Rare, I would say. I'm still getting that kind of cherry Coca-Cola coming through. I'm gonna go back and see if there's any difference after switching back and forth. After coming back to the Buffalo Trace, I am noticing it's a little bit harsher, a little bit more of that ethanol kick to it. So there's definitely some benefits for the Eagle Rare having a few more years in the barrel to mature just a little bit longer. Well, there you have it, guys. Two great bourbons between $25 and $35, both made from the Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky, both made with the same exact mash recipe, both aged a little bit differently, the Buffalo Trace being a little bit younger than the Eagle Rare. But both very good bourbons for your cabinet, great for mixing, great for just sipping straight. Alright guys, comment below with what your favorite bourbon or whiskey is in that $25 to $35 price range, that mid-shelf price range. I'd like to know. Also, we got a Facebook group, it's Cork and Java. We join there and have great conversations about wine, about coffee, and about all sorts of other drinks that we're enjoying together. You can find us on Twitter, and that's @CorkJava. We also have a Pinterest, which is at pinterest.com/corkandjava. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys online. Until next time, bottoms up.